Today we are building the bumper bot. Are you ready to crash into some fun? First step to building a bumper bot is to find these three pieces. You'll need this wood piece with the outline of the motor, and the motor clip. Face the motor this way, with the wires pointing to your left, and these axles pointing like this. Make sure this notch matches this shape. Then you take the clip. You're gonna have to use both hands and snap the clip in like that. If you want to remove them, squeeze the ends and then you can push it out. Now let's find the wood piece with the KiwiCo logo and one of these yellow clips. And we're going to attach it right here. That is going to be pointing in. And if you need to remove this clip, just squeeze these two parts here and you'll see it comes right out. Let's find this piece with the text. And we're going to take the part that we just built and we're going to connect this clip to the left of it. Right there. And make sure these wood pieces are flush against each other. We'll connect the motor piece with this wood setup. Make sure these tabs align to these tabs and the wire is out of the way. Then let's attach the clip to the other big piece. We want to attach it to the left, facing away from you. And now let's connect the two pieces together. Align the clip. Make sure these tabs are also aligned. And then you align the wood tabs. Our first stop and check. Let's make sure all the tabs are in. And if you look at it from the side view, all the wood pieces are flush with each other. Next step, let's connect two yellow clips to this funny looking piece right here. Then let's connect the two pieces. Take note of those tabs and these clips. And we're gonna snap them in. You can go one at a time. There's one, there's two. Here's another stop and check time. Be sure to push hard to close any of the gaps. So here, no gaps. We're almost done with the wood pieces. Let's find these pieces now. We're gonna connect them like this. You might need to push a little hard. This should be pretty snug. Now, we're gonna slide this piece into here. But before we do that, we're gonna actually move this wire out of the way. You wanna just hold that with your hand so it doesn't get caught. Then we're gonna slide it in, making sure the wire is out of the way. You can push down a little to make this flat. This tab should stick out a little. Another stop and check, make sure your wire is out of the way. We're gonna start off with the mount and the switch plate. If you notice on the switch plate, there's a space over here and then there's a switch over here. We're gonna angle the part without the switch first into this end. We're gonna try and put it underneath that tab. And then we're going to press down on the switch end until both sides are in. We're gonna have to thread the wires out of the way. So let's take the black capped connector, thread it underneath right here, and up through this. You may need to push a little so that the wires snag in. Then let's do it to the other side. Let's take the red connector, down, and out. Now if it comes out like this, it's okay. Just make sure the wire is bent so that it's facing the opposite way as the black connector. We're going to now attach this toggle to this switch setup. Notice that the toggle has two little feet. We want the switch to be right up in between them. Now we're going to hold this toggle in place while we get this yellow short rod. Align the holes and thread the rod through. You may need to move the pieces around until you find that it goes all the way through. If you press down on the toggle, you should hear a little click. Next, we're going to find the other yellow short rod, and we're going to thread it through the top holes. Like so. And now, time for some O-rings. We are going to use these grooves on the side to hold the O-rings in. Take one and loop it around both. It's going to be a little loose, and that's okay. When you press down, you'll see that the O-ring stretches. Let's do the other side. Next, let's bring in the wooden body we made in part A. You'll see on our switch that there is a red connector, and on our body we have the motor's black connector. Make sure these shapes are lined up, and matching the shapes, we're going to connect it like that. You might need to press firmly. Now, let's slide the switch mount in. There's 4 little feet on the sides that will need to match into those 4 tabs. So we're going to slide it in. And press down. Let's attach our battery now. Remove the tab. And we want to slide it into this open space right here. Before we do that, let's take a look at these 2 connectors and make sure you match the shapes up like so, and connect it. Give it a firm push so that's all the way in, and then you'll slide the battery with the switch facing out. Now let's close off the battery with this little door. You can squish the wires in either like this or like this. And we want to put past this wood piece and into the slots. Before we continue, let's make sure that this white axle of our motor is more or less centered. You can use your thumb or your fingers to shift the motor back and forth so that the axle is centered. If you notice that it gets off center at any point, you can always use your hands to move it back to center. Next step, time to add the crank arms. We'll use 2 crank arms, one on the left and one on the right. The key thing to remember here is that if one is pointing down, the other one should be pointing the opposite direction, which is up in this case. Let's attach the first one. You'll notice that the motor axle has a certain shape to it. Certain shape that matches the shape on your crank arm. Put it together so that the shapes match. And now you can use your hand to rotate this around to make sure you have a good connection. Let's point this down for now. To attach the other side, we match the shapes again, making sure that this one is pointing the opposite direction as the other side. So if our left side is pointing down, the right side is pointing up. Let's do a stop and check here. Turn your bot to the side so that you see both crank arms. One should be pointing down and one should be pointing up. Next, let's attach this blue leg linkage. You'll notice there's a hole here. We're going to match this hole to this green rod on the crank arm. It's going to wobble, but that's okay for now. Let's cap it off with a washer and one of these rod holders. For this one, you may need to hold the robot so you can press it into place. And now, the leg linkage can't come off. Let's do the same for the other side. Match the hole. Find these zigzag arms, and we're going to now attach it to our bot. Make sure this slot goes into this yellow rod. We slide it in, making sure these blue leg linkages are nestled in between the zigzag arms. And then, when you push down, make sure it's all the way down, so there's no gap. Now, when you press on the sides, you should hear clicks. Next, let's find this green rod, and on one end, we're going to attach the washer first, and then our rod holder. We're going to thread this green rod through the leg linkage and wood on both sides. And then cap it off with another washer and rod holder. To finish off the mechanism, we are going to add these wide arms to this green rod. So we're going to match this with this. Press firmly down so that there's no gaps. And if you press on the sides, you should hear a click. You've added the mechanism. First step to adding legs is to add the leg mounts. Match these prongs to these slanted rectangles. You might have to push hard. Now repeat 3 more times. Next step, let's fold the legs. To fold, you'll notice that there's 3 lines, 1, 2, 3 here. We're only going to fold this one and this one right now. We're going to fold in towards you, give it a good crease, fold it back out. Same thing for here. Fold it towards you, fold it back out. Now repeat for these 3 legs. Each of these legs needs its own foot. You can attach the foot by matching up this groove with this groove on the foot. Like so. Push it all the way in, and then you have a leg and a foot. Now make 3 more. Next, let's attach the leg to the body. We're going to match up this shape with this groove. We're going to slide it in, and you might have to push really, really hard until it goes all the way in. You'll notice that the leg is flush with the top of the leg linkage. We're going to take the long part of the leg, and we're going to curve it towards the leg mount. Now if you notice, the leg mount has a slot on the bottom. We're going to slide the top part of the leg through that slot. And then fold the top part down. 1 leg down, 3 more to go. Now our little bot has 4 legs. Time for another stop and check. Make sure your leg is pushed all the way in. This should be flush with the top of the leg linkage. To complete our bot, let's take the clear belt and attach it to these arms at these points. Let's insert the first slot down here and then follow along around the bot until we have all parts of the belt slotted in. When we get to the end, double up, and there we have it. All right, now that we finished building the bot, we're going to add some personality. I'm gonna add some hands and a face. All of these are found in your crate, and you can cut the face out on your topper and add the googly eyes. So let's do this side first. And now the other side. And then the face. All right, let's turn it on. There it goes. Look at it walking. Going the other way, waddling along. Now that we finished the build, if you run into trouble, I've got you. For example, you'll notice that when I turn this on, it's actually walking. One leg is in front of the other. If your bot is doing this instead, and both legs are moving at the same time, and it looks like it's kind of hopping or moving up and down and not really moving forward, here's how to fix it. First, you'll want to turn off your robot, and then choose a side. I'm gonna choose the right side. You're gonna just pull off the whole leg so that the crank arm is off of the motor axle. And then I'm gonna take a look on the left side. And if my motor axle is pointing down, I'm gonna make sure my right one is pointing up. And then I'm going to reattach. And then you can turn it on again to test it out. Now it's walking. If you turn on your battery and notice nothing is happening, don't worry. Make sure everything is connected properly and the battery tab is pulled out. When you press down on any of the arms, you'll hear it click. But if you don't, check these 3 things. You'll want to make sure that the switch mount is fully in. Press down to make sure it's fully in. And then make sure that the O-rings are also not off the yellow rods. Let's give that a good check. Cool. And then the third thing is just make sure your switch plate is fully in and underneath the tabs. And if you're noticing that the flexible belt is starting to come off, like here, just press it all the way down so that the tab and the slot are fully in. If you see the leg get loose, make sure that the leg is fully pressed in to the leg linkage here, and the top tab is folded down so it's held in place. Now that you've built the bot and everything works, how do you use it? Well, when you turn on the bot, you'll notice that it's going in a straight line. Every time you hit an arm, it's going to change direction. And this goes with any arm. The bot works best on smooth surfaces like tables or floors. And when you want to pick it up from the wood. You can also add more customization by visiting the topper. You can add hands and feet. When you're ready to take a break, you can actually take off the arms for safekeeping. And when you're ready to play again, you can put the arms right back on. If you're looking for game inspirations, we've got some. 1, mobile target practice. 2, tweak your target. And 3, don't cross my line. Now there is a lot of cool science and engineering happening here. You might be wondering, how is our little bumper bot navigating the world? Well, it is sensing its obstacles through a combination of levers, rockers, and a flexible belt. They all work together as a mechanical touch sensor, basically detecting when something hits and take action from that. You encounter touch sensors a lot in this world, like doorbells. They respond to touch from only one direction. But our bumper bot is cool because its seesaw toggle reacts to forces from 2 angles. But that's not all. The flexible belt distributes force to the switch's perpendicular set of arms, 1 horizontal and 1 vertical. When the belt runs into anything, it pushes against those arms, triggering the switch and making the robot change direction. In other words, you just created a 360-degree touch sensor, which allows your bumper bot to respond to anything around its body. That's pretty cool. Thanks so much for building along with us. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello.
That's good.
Off it goes.